Sponsor yields.
Kathy, now a lot of this testing comes from Race to the Top, and it also comes from Common Core. Would you agree with that?
Generally, I mean, there's been a pressure to test for 15 years now. As the technology is there, people will use it. So I think it's larger than just those issues, but there's been some pressure from them.
Have you taken a look at some of the Common Core curriculum that they put
my
forward?
colleagues, I certainly have. I think Mr. Graf knows, my colleague knows. I know he has been a teacher. I've never had that privilege, but I do have a child in the New York City public schools, and so I'm pretty familiar with test anxiety. I'm pretty familiar with some elements of the Common Core. My son was in a school where the Common Core was a test school early on. There are elements of it that I think, at least for my child, have actually been positive. I think there has been some depth. At Louis Armstrong Middle School, the curriculum had a lot more depth with the Common Core, so we have to see. We want to move our children forward to the global world. You know, I'm taking a little bit of a wait-and-see attitude on Common Core.
Are you getting a lot of pushback on the Common Core curriculum?
Only as it pertains, the committee receives mail from people all the time, emails, letters. People, I think, have more concern about over-testing than they do about the Common Core's emphasis, for example, on nonfiction or text reading. I think people are having a wait-and-see attitude because the Common Core, as it's supposed to be implemented, is not one-size-fits-all. So people want to feel that their child has an individualized program. I think they do worry, though, about lengthy tests. In a way, sometimes districts are resolving these components on the cheap. You know, let's just get a test in. A full evaluation of a child, we all know, is much more than a bubble test for an hour. So that's what this bill's designed to do.
Now, Kathy, on the staff, you're the chair of the Education Committee. I'm on the Education Committee.
I know, and you do a wonderful job.
Thank you. But the staff that's on there, do we have anyone with like a degree in elementary education that's already taught in elementary school?
Actually, a number of the staff of the committee have a background in early childhood. I have a graduate fellow who worked in early childhood, and some of people in the office have backgrounds as teachers or working in various jobs. I don't know if we have anybody who's actually taught middle school or anything like that, but we have members who have, and we value, as you know, all the members of the committee who are former teachers. We value their input greatly.
Right. Now, I've taken a look at some of the Common Core because I have a degree in elementary education, and I've taught elementary, ed classes. And I've taken a look, and believe it or not, they actually, for my student teaching, put me into kindergarten. And I thought, do I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger to you? But I looked at some of the Common Core, and to be honest with you, the cognitive level that they require these kids with Common Core, I don't see them being able to cognitively be able to do what they're asking them to do. And many of the teachers are telling me that the teachers' input they didn't get their input in writing this Common Core. So what I'm asking is do we have our staff people that do have degrees in elementary education taking a look at the new Common Core curriculum?
I believe the legislature will do our very best to evaluate it as it comes online. That's, though respectfully, not really what this bill is about. This bill is about younger students not being forced to take tests that are too demanding of their age group. And I think as many of us are parents, and whether we're parents or not, we work with young children in our job as members of the legislature. We're in schools. We feel we have to make a statement today and a guidance to the Department of Education across the street not to go too far into the testing of young children. I'd be happy. I would welcome the gentleman's thoughts on Common Core, and I'm sure as we go through this process over the next year and a half, we'll have additional meetings and hearings. We had the commissioner this year come, as you know, and address the committee. I think you spoke to him about Common Core at that time. I'd be happy. Nothing would make me happier than to demand that Commissioner King come here and meet with us and talk more about the Common Core. So maybe we can make that happen.
What I'd like to see, if we could, is to have actually meetings or have hearings in the city as well as on Long Island, okay, and get input from the teachers, get input from the parents and children about the Common Core when we're not in session. And I would request that you do that.
I would welcome that. It's only as much energy as we all have. I do want to remind the gentleman and my colleagues that as part of Governor Cuomo's new New York Education Commission, Senator Flanagan and myself have toured the state, spent a lot of time together this summer, and we were on Long Island, John and I, for hours listening to, as a matter of fact, Carol Burris, some of the well-known principals on Long Island, and Common Core was discussed at length. I don't remember if you were there, but we're happy. I'm sure that the Governor's Commission will bring us back, and that's one vehicle, and we can perhaps, as a legislature, continue. But I want to remind my colleagues that the Governor's Commission has both Senator John Flanagan from Long Island, the chair of the Senate's Education Committee, and myself from Queens. We were in Buffalo. Matter of fact, we almost got rained out. We were barely able to make it home, but we did. We were in Syracuse. We were in Newburgh. And we were in, trying to remember what school it was on Long Island where we were. I think it was SUNY Farmingdale?
Yeah, I'd like to say I remember too. I was there, Cap. But
It was a 4 or 5 hour day, believe
I'd like
me.
to see hearings just on Common Core and on Race to the Top, because I did put in legislation to remove us from both the Common Core and the Race to the Top. And I'd like to get some input, because I'm getting inundated with parents, teachers, school boards, and everything else that this is having a detrimental impact on our schools.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.